Hello, everyone. My name is Rose, and welcome back to Rose Podcasts. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Hi there. I'm James. It's great to be back, and we're really excited about today's episode.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to talk about something really special: how to talk about love in English. Whether you're expressing affection for someone, describing romantic feelings, or just talking about love in general, we've got you covered.
That's right. Talking about love can be tricky, but with the right words, it becomes much easier. So, let's dive into some great examples of talking about love in real life.
I love you.
I'm in love with you.
You mean the world to me.
I'm crazy about you.
You're my everything.
I'm head over heels for you. I adore you.
Let's continue with a simple way to express your feelings. You can say, I love you. This is the most direct and clear way to tell someone how much they mean to you.
Exactly. You can also say, I care about you a lot. This shows affection and concern, but it's a bit less intense than I love you.
If you want to talk about being in love with someone, you can say, I'm in love with you. This expresses deep romantic feelings for someone.
And if you want to show appreciation, you might say, I love how thoughtful you are. This highlights what you love about the person, focusing on their qualities.
When talking about a strong connection, you could say, you mean the world to me. This is a powerful way to express just how important someone is in your life.
Exactly. Or if you're feeling thankful, you can say, I'm so grateful to have you in my life. This shows appreciation for the person and what they bring to your life.
If you want to talk about being happy with someone, you might say, I'm so happy with you. This is a way to express your joy and satisfaction in a relationship.
And when you're talking about missing someone, you can say, I miss you so much. This expresses longing and how much you want to be with the person.
If you're feeling lucky to have someone, you can say, I'm lucky to have you. This is a sweet way to show appreciation for someone who is special to you.
To express how deep your feelings are, you can say, You're my soulmate. This shows that you feel a deep, spiritual connection with someone.
Now, let's move on to how to talk about love in a more casual or everyday way. For example, you could say, I really like you. This is a great way to express affection without it being too intense.
Or, if you want to express more admiration, you can say, I'm really fond of you. This is a gentle way to show that you care for someone.
If you want to say that someone is special to you, you could say, You're really important to me. This shows that the person holds a significant place in your life.
When you want to talk about how someone makes you feel, you can say, You make me feel so happy. This expresses the joy and positivity they bring to your life.
If you're feeling overwhelmed with affection, you might say, I can't stop thinking about you. This shows that the person is always on your mind.
And if you want to compliment someone you love, you could say, You're so amazing and I'm lucky to know you. This is a great way to tell someone how much you appreciate them.
For something lighthearted, you might say, I'm head over heels for you. This expresses that you're completely in love with someone in a fun way.
If you're talking about growing feelings, you can say, My feelings for you are growing every day. This shows that your love or affection is deepening over time.
And when you're expressing your happiness about a relationship, you might say, I'm so happy we're together. This emphasizes the joy and contentment you feel in the relationship.
Now let's talk about how to describe love in more general terms. For instance, you can say, Love is the most beautiful thing in the world. This shows that you value and cherish love itself.
And if you're explaining what love means to you, you can say, Love is about support, trust, and care. This explains what love means in terms of actions and qualities.
To talk about romantic relationships, you might say, romantic love is about connection and understanding. This expresses the deeper emotional bond that love creates between people.
If you want to talk about a long-lasting relationship, you could say, our love has stood the test of time. This expresses that your love has lasted through challenges.
When you want to describe love as something that grows, you might say, love grows stronger with time. This shows that love deepens and becomes more meaningful over the years.
If you're talking about the joy love brings, you can say, love brings happiness and peace to my life. This explains the positive impact that love can have on your well-being.
Exactly. And if you're sharing your thoughts about love in general, you could say, love is the foundation of any strong relationship. This emphasizes the importance of love in maintaining healthy connections.
For something light and fun, you can say, love is like a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs. This adds a playful twist to how love can feel exciting yet unpredictable.
And when talking about the power of love, you might say, love can change everything. This highlights the transformative effect love can have on people's lives.
When you want to talk about love as an emotion, you can say, love is the most powerful emotion. This emphasizes just how strong and impactful love can be.
All right, let's continue with more ways to talk about love. Here are some more examples.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel, you could say, love fills me with joy and excitement. This shows how love can bring happiness into your life.
If you're discussing how love makes you feel safe, you might say, love makes me feel secure and cared for. This expresses how love provides a sense of safety and emotional comfort.
For something deeper, you could say, love is the glue that holds everything together. This emphasizes the idea that love is essential in relationships.
When talking about how love changes you, you can say, love has made me a better person. This reflects how love can transform and improve us.
If you're talking about someone you can't imagine living without, you could say, I can't imagine my life without you. This expresses how deeply someone is intertwined with your existence.
If you're talking about how much someone means to you, you can say, you mean everything to me. This shows that someone holds the highest importance in your life.
When you're feeling thankful for someone's love, you could say, thank you for always loving me. This shows your appreciation for their unconditional love.
If you want to express how someone is always on your mind, you could say, you're always in my thoughts. This highlights how someone is constantly present in your mind.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel complete, you might say, with you, I feel whole. This shows that the other person completes you emotionally.
And if you want to talk about unconditional love, you can say, I will always love you no matter what. This shows how your love is not dependent on conditions or circumstances.
For something simple, you could say, I really enjoy being with you. This expresses how you value the time spent with someone.
If you're talking about a romantic gesture, you could say, I bought you this because I love you. This shows that your actions are driven by love and care.
When you want to talk about growing together, you can say, our love keeps getting stronger every day. This shows how your relationship is evolving and deepening.
If you're talking about a feeling of connection, you might say, we're connected in every way. This expresses a deep emotional and spiritual bond.
When discussing how love makes you feel understood, you could say, you understand me like no one else. This highlights the emotional closeness and understanding in the relationship.
If you're feeling romantic, you can say, every moment with you feels magical. This expresses how every shared moment feels special and enchanting.
When talking about the uniqueness of a relationship, you might say, our love is one of a kind. This emphasizes how special your connection is.
If you're reflecting on the past, you could say, we've been through so much together, and our love is still strong. This shows that your relationship has endured challenges and continues to thrive.
If you're talking about how love has impacted your life, you might say, love has completely changed my perspective on life. This shows the transformative power of love in your outlook.
When you're talking about how love makes you feel at peace, you can say, your love gives me peace of mind. This expresses the calming and soothing effect love has on you.
If you're talking about growing old together, you might say, I can't wait to grow old with you. This expresses the desire for a long-lasting relationship.
When talking about loyalty, you could say, I'll always be loyal to you, no matter what. This expresses commitment and faithfulness in a relationship.
If you're saying goodbye but still expressing love, you can say, I'll miss you, but my love for you won't change. This expresses that your feelings remain strong even when you're apart.
When you want to talk about the bond you share, you can say, we share a bond that is unbreakable. This emphasizes the strength of your connection.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel special, you can say, your love makes me feel so special every day. This expresses how cherished you feel because of the person's love.
When describing a deep connection, you can say, we have a deep connection that words can't describe. This highlights how profound and indescribable your bond is.
If you're talking about a fresh relationship, you can say, we're still getting to know each other, but I already feel connected. This expresses excitement and growth in a new relationship.
If you want to talk about a promise, you might say, I promise to love you always. This shows your dedication and commitment to love someone.
When discussing admiration, you can say, I admire you for everything you do. This expresses deep respect and admiration for the other person.
If you're talking about love from a distance, you might say, even though we're apart, I still feel your love. This shows that love transcends physical distance.
When you want to describe your feelings, you could say, I'm overwhelmed with love for you. This shows how deeply you're feeling affection.
If you're talking about expressing feelings for the first time, you can say, I've never told you this, but I really care about you. This shows the vulnerability of opening up about your feelings.
If you're reflecting on past love, you can say, that was a love I'll always remember. This expresses nostalgia and fondness for a past relationship.
For something more casual, you might say, I like you a lot. This is a simple way to express affection without making it too serious.
If you're talking about the support love provides, you could say, your love gives me strength during tough times. This shows how love can provide emotional support when you need it most.
If you're talking about how someone's love motivates you, you can say, your love inspires me to be a better person. This shows how love can push you to grow and improve.
If you want to express how love can heal, you might say, love has healed my heart. This expresses how love can help mend emotional wounds.
If you're sharing how love makes you feel understood, you could say, you make me feel seen and understood. This expresses how love brings empathy and understanding.
If you want to talk about the impact of love, you might say, love has completely transformed my life for the better. This shows the life-changing effect love can have.
If you're sharing how love makes you feel understood, you could say, you make me feel seen and understood. This expresses how love brings empathy and understanding.
If you want to talk about the impact of love, you might say, love has completely transformed my life for the better. This shows the life-changing effect love can have.
And when you want to talk about how your love for someone grows, you could say, my love for you grows every day. This expresses that your feelings are deepening over time.
If you're talking about someone's love being a source of comfort, you can say, your love comforts me when I'm feeling down. This shows how love can provide emotional relief.
When you're discussing a romantic gesture, you might say, I wrote you a love letter because I care. This expresses your affection through a thoughtful gesture.
If you want to say something sweet about someone, you can say, you make my world a better place. This shows how their love brings positivity into your life.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel alive, you can say, Love makes me feel alive and full of energy. This expresses the vibrancy and excitement love brings to your life. Let's keep the love conversation going with even more ways to talk about love. Here are some additional examples.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel stronger, you could say, "Your love makes me feel like I can take on anything." This shows how love can give you strength to face challenges.
When talking about growing together, you might say, "Every day with you makes me a better person." This expresses how love helps you grow as an individual.
If you're talking about a unique bond, you could say, "Our love is unlike anything I've ever known." This shows how your relationship is one of a kind.
If you want to express how love gives you peace, you can say, "Your love brings me a sense of peace I've never felt before." This conveys the calmness that love can bring into your life.
If you're talking about how love makes you feel safe, you can say, "With you, I feel safe and protected." This emphasizes the security that love provides in a relationship.
When talking about how love lifts you up, you might say, "Your love lifts me up when I'm feeling down." This expresses how love helps you stay positive during difficult times.
If you're talking about how love inspires you, you could say, "Your love motivates me to follow my dreams." This shows that love can inspire you to achieve your goals.
If you're talking about feeling understood, you might say, "You get me like no one else." This expresses how your partner understands you deeply.
If you're talking about the way love grows, you could say, "Every day, my love for you grows deeper." This shows that love isn't just a one-time feeling. It evolves over time.
If you want to express a timeless love, you could say, "From the moment we met, I knew I'd love you forever." This expresses the enduring nature of your feelings.
If you want to talk about the joy of giving love, you could say, "I love making you happy." This shows the pleasure you get from seeing your loved one happy.
If you're describing love as a journey, you might say, "Love is an adventure, and I'm so glad to be on this journey with you." This emphasizes how love is a continuous, exciting experience.
If you want to talk about how love helps you grow, you can say, "Love has helped me discover new things about myself." This expresses how love encourages personal development.
If you're talking about appreciating your partner, you can say, "I appreciate everything you do for me." This highlights the importance of expressing gratitude in love.
When talking about a simple gesture of love, you might say, "Your smile is all I need to brighten my day." This shows how even the smallest things from someone you love can have a big impact.
If you're expressing the lasting nature of your love, you can say, "Even after all this time, my love for you hasn't faded." This shows the timeless and unchanging nature of your affection.
If you want to talk about how love shapes your life, you might say, "Love has changed my world in the best way possible." This expresses how love has brought significant positive change.
If you're talking about unconditional love, you could say, "My love for you has no limits." This emphasizes the depth and boundlessness of your affection.
If you're talking about how your love has endured challenges, you might say, "Through everything, our love has only gotten stronger." This shows how love can withstand tough times and emerge even stronger.
When discussing how love makes life better, you can say, "Life is better with you in it." This expresses how much better life feels with love in it.
If you want to talk about how love makes you feel important, you might say, "You make me feel like I'm the most important person in the world." This shows how your partner's love makes you feel cherished.
If you want to express how love makes everything brighter, you could say, "Your love lights up my life." This expresses how love can bring warmth and positivity.
If you're feeling grateful for love, you could say, "I'm so thankful for your love." This expresses your gratitude for the love you've received.
If you're expressing the importance of love, you might say, "Love is the most important thing in my life." This emphasizes how love is a central part of your existence.
When talking about how love gives you energy, you could say, Your love energizes me every day. This shows how love can inspire and give you the motivation to face the day.
If you're describing how love makes you feel secure, you can say, "Your love gives me the strength to face anything." This expresses how love provides emotional stability.
If you're reflecting on how love makes everything feel right, you might say, "With you, everything just feels right." This shows that love brings clarity and peace to your life.
When talking about how love has transformed your life, you could say, "Love has opened my eyes to a whole new world." This expresses the transformative effect that love has on you.
If you're talking about how love feels like home, you can say, "Being with you feels like coming home." This shows how love provides a sense of comfort and belonging.
When describing the depth of your feelings, you might say, "My love for you is deeper than words can describe." This shows that your feelings go beyond what can be expressed verbally.
If you want to talk about how love makes you feel complete, you could say, "You complete me in every way." This expresses how your partner makes your life whole.
If you're talking about your partner's importance, you might say, "You're the most important person in my life." This emphasizes the central role someone plays in your heart.
When expressing your commitment, you could say, "I'm committed to loving you forever." This expresses your deep devotion and loyalty to your partner.
If you're talking about a new love, you might say, "I'm falling in love with you more each day." This shows the excitement and growing feelings of a new relationship.
If you're talking about what you love about someone, you can say, "I love the way you make me laugh." This expresses appreciation for something specific about the person.
When expressing how love makes you feel cherished, you might say, "Your love makes me feel truly special." This shows how much you value the love and affection you receive.
If you're talking about the strength of your relationship, you can say, "Our relationship is built on love and trust." This shows that love and trust are the foundation of your connection.
If you're reflecting on love's role in your life, you might say, "Love is the key to happiness in my life." This emphasizes how love plays a central role in bringing joy.
When talking about long-term love, you can say, "I want to grow old with you." This expresses a desire for a lasting, lifelong connection.
If you're describing love in a spiritual sense, you might say, "Our love feels like a divine connection." This shows that love feels deeply spiritual and meaningful.
When expressing how love is always there, you could say, "Even in tough times, love always shines through." This highlights how love remains strong even when faced with challenges.
If you're talking about how love brings warmth, you can say, "Your love wraps me in warmth and comfort." This expresses the nurturing and comforting qualities of love.
When describing your love for someone, you can say, "My love for you is endless and unwavering." This shows that your feelings for the person are constant and unchanging.
If you're expressing how love makes you feel alive, you could say, "Your love fills me with a sense of purpose." This shows how love gives your life meaning and direction.
If you're talking about how love heals, you might say, "Love has healed my heart after everything." This shows that love has the power to mend emotional wounds.
When you're feeling deeply connected, you can say, "I feel connected to you in ways I can't explain." This expresses the depth of your emotional bond.
If you want to express love in a simple way, you could say, "I'm so lucky to have you in my life." This shows how grateful and blessed you feel for the person's love.
When you want to talk about how much you care, you can say, "I'll always be here for you no matter what." This expresses loyalty and unwavering support in a relationship. Let's keep the love talk going with even more expressions. Here are some more examples.
If you're talking about the deep connection you share, you could say, "We share a bond that words can't explain." This shows how your connection goes beyond what words can describe.
If you're describing the power of love, you might say, "Love can overcome any obstacle." This expresses the idea that love can conquer challenges in a relationship.
When talking about how love makes you feel valued, you could say, "Your love makes me feel appreciated every day." This shows how your partner's love boosts your sense of self-worth.
If you're reflecting on how love has shaped you, you can say, "Love has changed me for the better." This expresses the transformative effect love has on personal growth.
If you're talking about how love strengthens you, you might say, "Your love makes me stronger every day." This highlights how love builds emotional resilience.
When you want to express the idea of unconditional support, you could say, "I will always support you with all my heart." This shows your unwavering commitment to the person you love.
And finally, if you're talking about how love brings you joy, you can say, "Your love brings me more joy than I ever imagined." This expresses the immense happiness that love brings into your life.
There you have it. There are so many ways to express love in English. No matter how you're feeling, these examples will help you talk about love in meaningful ways.
And finally, if you're talking about how love brings you joy, you can say, "Your love brings me more joy than I ever imagined." This expresses the immense happiness that love brings into your life.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. We hope these examples help you speak about love with confidence and clarity.
Be sure to subscribe to Rose Podcasts for more tips on mastering English.
Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.